Hello and welcome to PHPdemy. Today's video is on authentication system with session and cookie. So this video is going to be an explanatory video. That is to say that we will demonstrate the functionality of this system and then go ahead and explain some of the codes that powers it. So to begin, we'll go to the sign up page and sign up as a new user. So we say Benclef and the Igba Benclef at Gmail. So let's try 12345 as the password and then see what we have. So I just want to show you the validation on the forms. So it says that 12345 cannot work because the password requires at least one lowercase, one uppercase, an integer, and a special character. So let's use this. Again, let's try another validation. Password do not match. Then if we sign up, okay, let's say here is empty. Now we have that, and let's say we didn't put in an email. We'll say valid email, enter a valid email. So we can see that all the validation fields are working perfectly. So let's go ahead and sign up now. Alright, we have created our account successfully and an activation email has been sent to us. You can see that the email has arrived. So before we open this email and then click on the link, let's go to the login page and see if we can log in without activation. This was the password we used, so let's check it. So because we are yet to activate our account, this email and password do valid, but access has been restricted. So let's go ahead and then click on the link. Now our account has been verified and activated. So also, well, when we click on this and we are able to log in successfully, we also get a notification email that we have successfully logged into our account. Now this is the username in which we use to sign up, and then if we check into our inbox, we get our notification and it reads there. So I used an HTML template for this, just to show you that you can as well use an HTML template. You can see from here, these are just plain text, but here we have an HTML template. So I will show you all of that in a moment. Again, when we try to click again the same link that we receive when we sign up on this platform, we get a notification alert that this email has already been verified. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now let's go into our database. In our database we have two tables. We have the users tables and then the forgotten passwords table. So let's check up the users table. Now because we clicked the remember me, we have this section column, this cookie column filled with a unique character of 64 length, and then this is the session ID. Now if we go ahead and log out and then come back to this and refresh, we see that both the session ID and then the cookie token are all gone. Again, if we log in without checking the remember me, this is the remember me. So if we don't check it and then we log in just like that, now when we refresh this, we only have the session ID. So I wouldn't want to go into the uses of cookies and session. Anyone that will be interested in such a project already know the uses of cookie and session. So if you don't, I'm sorry, you have to go make your research, and when you're done you can come back for this project. So when we check our inbox, we can see that we have because we have logged in twice, so we have 2 more notifications. So each time you log in, you are going to get an email notification. Then let's go back and check on the forgot password. So let's put in our email. Now we have gotten our new email here, password request reset rather. So when we click this, take us to a page where we will change our password. So let's say last time was the old password was at 25, so let's say fan at 35, fan at 35, and we have successfully changed our password. So if we go back now and try to log in with the old password, which is this, we get an error. But when we change this to 35, we are granted access. So this is the long and short on this project. Next, we'll look at some of the codes, and I'll just run through them briefly. The codes I have tried to explain them minute on it to give you ample explanations in the codes. So when you download and you go through them, you will really understand. I try to make it as easy as possible and as simple as I can for even a beginner that is determined to understand. And coupled with the last video on the MVC framework, that was very detailed, but I also wanted to make sure this video is simple and short so that I can be dropping them on a weekly basis, and it won't take me another 2 months to come up with a good video. So now we are in our VS Code, and this is our project. So you remember, for those of you that have watched the MVC framework, this page should look familiar. So this is our page that runs, that all of our application files pass through before it gets to the user, to the view. So I won't be explaining much here. The only thing I added here that was not included in that video was this, and of course I said these are files that are that are used to run third parties application. So here we have in this vendor file is where this is the vendor file. So ensure it's not included in either the app or the public folder. So this is our PHP mailer. So I think that's all on this. Then also I added a new folder apart from what was talked about in the PHP MVC framework. I added a folder called help us, and it has a function, and this function helps in holding our old information in the input fields. So if we go back and let's log out and try to log in with a wrong password, now you see all the old informations are being retained, including the checked button. So these are the codes that are holding them back. This is for the checked, old checked. This is for old value, and this is for select. So even though we didn't use a select in this particular lesson, there are other projects that have used select, and it has come in handy for me. So the next thing we are going to talk about is the config file. Remember, we have the config class and the config file. So we are going to look at the config file. I will just go off. There are some things I need to take off the config file, which are not supposed to be seen by a third eye. So I'll be back in a moment. So we are now in our config file. Sorry about that, I had to make some corrections there. So this function was already explained. Now this was what we added. Remember, we said this array is going to be an array of an array, and we wrote it in a way that we can be adding all of our arrays that will be required by our application. The last one we used was MySQL, which we used in our database file, I think. Yes, in our database file. Yes, so this was what we did with that. So we did this with the help of the config class. So this was the class that we were using to call all of that. So now these are the configurations for the cookie. These are the configurations for the encryption. Yes, we had to encrypt the user ID and all of that, so that somebody will not have access to what they are not supposed to. And also this is our hashing factor. Now this is for our mailer. So configuration for our email server credentials. So these are some of the things I had to change before letting you guys see it. So we will see how we could use, we have used them so far. Now this email for the verification, this is for password reset, and this is for notification. Now each of these have numbers 1, 2, 3. Now the 1, 2, 3 that is here is used to give our email class an idea of which which config it should call. If you're sending if it is for a sign up email, it should know that it is 1. If it is for login notification, it should know that it is 3, and it is for password request, it should know that it is 2. So let's go into our email class. Now the email class, you see them, this was what I was talking about. So the same way we called them in our database class, was same we call them here. Now we have the switch type. Now this is where we call them. Now the cases, instead of writing 1, 2, 3, we call them dynamically here. So when you have email verification, we will go back to our config. You see email verification is set to 1, so the cases are changed. So if it is 1, it loads 1, if it is 2, it loads 2, and if it is 3, it loads number 3. So you can have as many emails as you want. You can have an email for appreciation after a successful purchase. You can have an email for other form of alerts or notification. I don't know what else to tell you on that, but I hope you get the point. Then we also have okay, in our data class, database, we also added a few lines of codes, I think. Yes, so we've upgraded our codes as well, and we can as well get ID by data by ID. We can also get email. Okay, I just remember something. Let's go back to our login page and try to sign up. Okay, let's go back to our sign up page and try to sign up with the same username. We are told that the username is not available, and then if we try to sign up with the same email, we also get a notification that the email has already been taken. So all of this is being made possible from here. It's originated from here, gets user by email, and then we will go to our validation class. This was where it has finally come together. And yes, to make the email unique, we have to check into our database, and then if it is not there, then you can use it, but if it is there, it will now bring an error that email has already been taken. So also back to the email. In the email, we have also called some of the templates. These are the templates. So this is where it is made possible to either send it as text or you send it as a HTML file. So this is the template. Now this is the login. I just included this one just to show you, I give you an idea on how to use it. So this is for the verification. Okay, this is for the verification, this is for the password. Doesn't really matter how you arrange them. They are not called from here, they are called from the email class, so everyone knows itself when it is being called upon. Then Another thing we added was the session class. Now when you go back to the index.php, we started our session with the init. So the init session here, we set it to be that you should check first. If the session is not been started, then it should kickstart session. Also, we should check if the session is valid. We're supposed to first check if the user is even logged in. Then it is the user ID and then the user role. Although we didn't make use of role in this particular tutorials, but you can as well add a role so that admins and then users can have descriptive role and limited accessibility to certain functions. Also, we have our CSRF token generator. Well, when you go through the code, you will see. So this is to help us avoid cross-site attacks. So it's been called in our forms. Let me show you. Let's go to authentication. Okay, no, it should be in our Auth file. Okay, sorry, we didn't use it in our authentication, but surely you will find it in subsequent class. And the reason why we didn't use that here is because it works with a session. So unless session is being started, you cannot use that. So I apologize. Then the next file we added was the cookie. Was a cookie file and the cookie class rather. So, and then we added the encryption file. This is the encryption file. And then what else did we add? I think this is basically all the things that we added. Then back to the models. We just added the, okay, let's first talk about the controller. This is the Auth controller. Now the Auth controller, if the index says if the user is not logged in, if the user is not logged in, so you should take it back to the home controller, and then now, sorry, the index method here, this statement here means if you should check if user is logged in. Once the user is logged in, that means you should take him to your desired destination, the desired destination. So if it is a proper project, this should be probably a dashboard, something. The link should be a dashboard or something. So in this case, I sent it to to home rather, sorry. I sent it to home so that since we have just limited controllers, just 2 controllers, or rather 3 controllers including the error, I sent it back to the home. But in the home it has two files there. It has 2 h1s there. So one is when you're logged in and the other is when you're not logged in. So when you're logged in, this will show. When you're not logged in, this will show. So that's why we have if not session is logged in. So that is why we have it here as well, that if user is logged in, take it to session to home. But the home we're talking about is this home, not this home. So you can set it to go to a dashboard, just the pages where you want only people that are logged in to have access to. I think that is what I've been trying to say. Then next we are going to look at okay, the home. There is nothing really there to explain. They are all self-explanatory. And then okay, next is the after the index, the next is the sign up, and then all the codes here. Now this is how we were able to validate our forms. So we instantiated the validation class here, and then using a variable rule, and then we use that to all of these are functions in our, or rather methods in our validation rule class. So this is required. Let's go to is required. So we have it here. This is required. That means the field must be satisfied. Is email, that means it must be an email. Minimum length, maximum length, integer, that means it must be an integer alphanumerical. That means it can be both numbers and both integers and strings. And then we have also alphanumeric with space, so it allows spaces. And then this is password, so and all of that. Next is okay, we'll go back to our controller. The next one is satisfy. If all the information above, the data above have been satisfied, then you should proceed to, now we have called in. So if all the above has been satisfied, we now, so if all of the above has been satisfied, we now call the model register. So let's look at the model. So this is register, this method here, register. So the register, we say we'll begin with a transaction, then we insert this. In transactions, make sure when you begin a transaction, make sure it enters your information into the database, and as well as sent an email to the respective user in which you which is in focus rather. So the next is the login and all of that. So all of these are very self-explanatory, and where needs to have a few explanations, I've also set them there. So I think when you download the file, you should be able to go through them at your own pace and understand how it works. So thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment what project you want me to work on. I'll really appreciate that, and I will know there are a lot of folks watching and a lot of them that appreciate it. Thank you.